In 1976, Honda introduced an all-new hatchback to the American market. In 2007, Honda introduced another new hatchback to the American market. So, what does 30 years of progress get you? In the mid-70s, Honda was making cars that still had a lot of obvious motorcycle DNA. And that pretty much changed with the new bigger model that was introduced in 1976. It was only available as a hatchback to begin with, and it was called the Honda Accord, fitting just above the Civic. In 2007, Honda brought a car that had been around for a few years to the US for the first time, the Honda Fit. In this case, the new hatchback, still a compact, fit below the Civic. Where the Fit was only available as a four-door hatchback, the Accord was introduced as a two-door hatchback. And although a four-door notchback was added a few years later, it was significantly longer, about 10 inches. So how does the original Accord hatchback and the newer Honda Fit hatchback compare in size? The two-door hatchback Accord had a 94-inch wheelbase, 163 inches overall length, and was about 2,000 pounds. The Fit that was introduced in 2007 to the US was on a 97-inch wheelbase, about 157 inches long, and weighed 400 pounds more, about 2,400 pounds. The Accord was about 64 inches wide and 52 inches in overall height. The Fit was 66 inches wide and about 60 inches in overall height. So even though the Fit was a couple inches shorter, it had a longer wheelbase and was significantly taller. If you're interested, the Accord over the same time period grew in about 14 inches in the wheelbase, 18 inches in overall length, and about 1,200 pounds. So kind of apples and oranges there. The Accord, when it was introduced, had a 1.6 liter four-cylinder that was putting out about 68 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque, which could make the 2,000-pound car hit 0 to 60 in about 13 seconds and the quarter mile in about 19 with a top speed of about 95 miles an hour. The Fit had a slightly smaller 1.5 liter four-cylinder that had 105 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque, which enabled it to go from 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds and the quarter mile in less than 18 seconds, with a top speed closer to 110. So how did the smaller, lighter, more efficient fuel-injected engine of the Fit do in a heavier car? Well, like all performance figures, there's some variation depending on the results, but it's more extensive here in the mileage for a number of reasons. I mean, not only do you have city, highway, combined, EPA as tested, but you also have the issue of the EPA restructuring in 2008, which changed what those figures ended up being through the EPA for both city, highway, and combined. But overall, it appeared that the older Accord actually got a couple more miles to the gallon, which I kind of find both surprising and disappointing. Price-wise, counting for inflation, the two cars are pretty much the same price as new. I mean, actual dollars, you'd be looking at about close to $4,000 in 1976 dollars. And in 2007, you're talking closer to $15,000. But there was a significant amount of inflation during that 30 years. So $4,000, pretty close to $15,000 in 2007, 2008 dollars. The Fit is going to have more features simply because it's newer, it's got more stuff. So if you figure that into the price, you're getting more for your money with the Fit than you were with the Accord. However, if you were to buy both of these cars now on the used car market, a Fit is going to cost you about twice as much as a first generation Accord in similar condition. For their time, both of these cars were considered pretty good performers. But not only is the Fit quicker, but it has the advantage of better tires, better brakes. So performance-wise, the Fit has a definite advantage over the first generation Accords. Size-wise, is comfort being inside the vehicle. Both are cramped vehicles. They're compact vehicles. I think it's safe to say that the much taller Fit is going to have more headroom. But this is not, neither one of these cars is going to be something that a 6-footer is really going to spend a long amount of time in. Inside the vehicles, the Fit definitely seems more modern, but it also seems more plasticky. I mean, the use of plastic really has increased a lot, particularly in cheaper vehicles. In the Accord, you're going to see a little bit more metal that's exposed, painted but exposed. And like most Japanese cars of this time, the cars seem a little insubstantial. The doors seem thin, the noise levels seem high, the small motors were more noticeable in their sound effects, we'll say. So overall, it appears that after 30 years, you got much better performance, maybe a little bit of room, a lot more standard features, and worse mileage. Which car would I prefer? It's really hard to say. I think the Fit might be more comfortable on a long-term drive, not only because it's got a longer wheelbase and more headroom. I suspect the seats are going to be better and the noise is going to be better. But if I was just going to cruise around town in something, I would definitely prefer the original Accord. I'll probably do some more comparisons like this over different periods from different brands. And we'll see if this trend carries through, because this is just one example. But let me know your thoughts on it, and if there's something else that you'd like to see me take a general overview of. Thanks again for watching.